So I know last week I had mentioned when I got back in town from Arizona, I was gonna do a video about the new shotgun we got my son. I woke up Monday morning super sick, really bad sore throat. Monday and Tuesday were really rough. And then Wednesday, we all know what happened with Charlie Kirk, and I really didn't feel like making any videos on my outdoor channel. I made a couple of videos talking about what had happened to Charlie on my other channel. So I apologize for that. I will get to the video about the shotgun. However, I'm cleaning up my workbench right now. As y'all can see, it's a mess. I got fly tying stuff out here. I got archery stuff out here. Still hunting stuff from Dove Steven. Actually, now that if you guys don't use Mojo's dove hunting, all the years I've been dove hunting with my father-in-law out in Arizona, we never used decoys. We were always out in the brush chasing these birds down and stuff. I moved to Texas, met a couple old guys in the neighborhood, retired. They took me out dove hunting one time, and they had used these Mojos, and I was blown away at how the birds dived on these Mojos. So for 30 bucks, I think they're like 30 bucks, 40 bucks. They're a great investment. I actually bought one kind of just for my son. I'm like, hey, you want to put out a decoy? You know, kids are kind of into those things, and they work good. So buy a Mojo. Anyways, on this video, what I wanted to talk about, now if you guys are still here, if I haven't bored you yet, what I want to talk about is making connections with people and like having seasonal friends. So this past weekend, I was thinking about the upcoming archery bow hunting season and stuff. And last year I was using a limb-driven rest on my bow. For those of you that aren't into archery, the archery people understand what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to do a video on limb-driven versus cable-driven rest when I go to put this rest on. But I had met a guy couple years back. I was driving in the neighborhood and I saw this big redneck blind sitting in his yard, and I stopped and offered, I said, hey, if you need someone to build you a stand for that blind, here's my card, blah, 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 blah. And turns out he owns like an outdoor company and he gets all this kind of stuff for free. He already had stands. He didn't need a stand, but he needed a handrail built. So we got to talking and kind of became friends, and owning an outdoor company, he gets a bunch of hookups and stuff. So we had a bunch of brand new bows and boxes and archery equipment. So this year I hit him up. I'm like, hey man, do you still got any more of those QAD rests? He's like, sure, I'll bring one on over. I just got a new golf cart. I'm doing some hot laps around the neighborhood. So he brings me a brand new in the box QAD rest for free. Well, I'm sure I'm gonna have to work it off somehow, do some horse trading later on. Sorry, my little boy's out here getting into trouble. Do some horse trading later on. I love doing horse trading, especially owning small business and stuff. It's nice. Anyway, so it got me thinking about, I don't ever talk to this guy outside of archery season. And I have many friends like that. I have friends that don't fish, that only shoot archery. I have friends that fish, that don't shoot archery at all, or don't do, they don't fish during the summer and then hunt during the fall and winter. And it just got me thinking about it. I have another friend who is a fishing buddy of mine who I'd met at the lake one day. For those of you who haven't heard me mention this yet, the lake I live on is more of a recreational lake. And if you're not off the water by like 10, 11 o'clock, the boat ramp turns into a shit show. And if you had never watched a guy with a Jeep Wrangler try to back down a Sea-Doo trailer, it's hilarious. Short wheelbase car, short trailer, not exactly the easiest to back down a ramp that's 100 feet or 100 yards long. It's pretty funny. Anyway, so I see a guy sitting there on spot lock about 20 feet off the dock, and so I can't really tell if he's pitching a jig up under the dock or if he's waiting. I'm like, hey man, you waiting in line? He's like, yeah, I've been here about 45 minutes. I'm next. Do you want me to back your truck down for you? I'm like, sure do. Toss him my keys, explain to him which truck is mine. He goes up there, gets his boat off the water, and then backs down my trailer, gets me off the water. After that, we ended up talking, and becoming friends. But outside of the fall, the springtime and the summertime, I don't really talk to the guy much. We don't like go out to dinner together. He used to shoot archery. He used to bow hunt with his dad. His dad passed away some years ago, and he kind of hung up the tree stands and the archery stuff. And so he doesn't really do that anymore, which I totally understand. However, come springtime, I'm like, hey man, the Thursday nighters are going to start up soon. We fish a local tournament on this lake every Thursday night during the spring, summertime. Actually, we didn't fish any this year. The lake was down, whatever. But yeah, like I said, I also got guys that compete in archery. They're huge into competing in archery. They don't bow hunt and they don't fish. So when indoor season comes around, which we're coming up on indoor season, I'll hang out with these guys and I'll talk to them, we'll text back and forth. And that's when I interact with these guys, it's just during the season. In fact, the only friend I have as of right now, my buddy Corey, he watches the channel. He's a buddy of mine. He's the only buddy I got right now. This year is the first year he actually started bass fishing with me, but I'd met him at my archery club. We shot indoor together, and then we talked a little bit about, outdoor stuff. And I think he went with me 2 seasons ago to his first 3D tournament, and then he really got into 3D archery, really enjoys shooting his bow. He enjoys bow hunting more than I do. I only bow hunt to put meat in the freezer. I don't trophy hunt. I don't have any wall hangers. I just like putting meat in the freezer. We'll get into that when I get into archery stuff. So yeah, he's like the only friend of mine at this point that does, he shoots tournaments with me. So we compete, shoot archery year round. He bow hunts and he also bass fishes with me now. So I just thought that was interesting. I don't know how many other people out there like me where they have multiple hobbies like I do, fishing, hunting, archery, shooting, or whatever, and have friend groups in each one of these hobbies that they really only interact with, when it comes to those hobbies. And outside of those hobbies, if you're not doing it, you're not really interacting with them. And about making contacts, a lot of people don't really get to know people, and kind of like, I don't want to make it sound like I try to find people that I can get something out of, but like I'm the guy that, when you're sitting at a barbecue and someone's like, man, I really like to get a sidewalk poured right here. I wish I knew someone that did concrete. I'm like, I got a guy. Open my phone up. Or, hey man, I really need to get a new bow, but I don't want to pay retail. Hey, I know a guy that has a bunch of bows in cases sitting in his garage. He'll probably give you a good deal on one. Stuff like that. I need a lift done on my Jeep. I got a guy. So it's good to talk to people. It's good to make friends. And I'm not saying to like look for people that you have something to gain off of, but sometimes you meet some people you got something to gain off of. Like this guy, he had just gotten, the guy that gave me the rest, he had just had a new shop poured on the side of his house. And, by law, you have to have handrails. And just so happened, if I hadn't stopped by, he wouldn't have found a guy to do his handrail for the price that I gave him. So it worked out, right? So don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to make connections is basically what I'm getting at. And let me know in the comment section if you have seasonal friends too, or if it's just me, maybe I got too many hobbies. Till next time.